Hello and welcome back to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we are on the website of the Mehlis Auction House based in Germany, and we're going to have a look at their 101st auction. This particular auction house seems to have very large auctions which cover quite a range of different items. So we're just going to have a look at the musical instruments section, which looks to have some quite interesting instruments. I don't know much about this auction house, but if you translate it from the German, you can see all the normal sections. If we go to the buy section, then down at the bottom we can see that there's 23% buyer's premium, but as always, read the information about kind of additional costs. Obviously, if you're in the UK and you're buying from Germany, now you'll be subject to kind of import tax and fees, so you have to calculate that as well. I presume that the setup is pretty standard in regards to signing up, kind of placing bids online, getting verified from your bank, etc. But I've not had an experience with this particular auction house. But what we're going to do today is we're going to click on the musical instruments section of the 101st auction, and we're going to dive in, and we're just going to see how this is set up. So without further ado, let's go for it and see how many items we have. So, a violin labeled Riccardo Antognazzi, an evenly flamed back made of mirror maple in orange brown lacquer, a crack-free top made of resonant spruce, played condition, age, crackle on the varnish, added octagonal bow, indistinctly marked Hans Hollinger, I presume that's for the bow, with renewed covering. In case, and then it gives length of body, etc. So some information there. Looks like the starting bid is €2,800. No other information there in terms of condition reports, but perhaps you can contact them. So let's have a quick look in the pictures. Looks like you've got the magnifying glass. That's kind of interesting. Can we click through to the other pictures? No. So there's the case, and then there's the bow. Can have a look a bit more there, and let's have a look at the back. Yeah. Some of the descriptions might come out a bit strange because of the translation. I'm sure it makes complete sense in the original German, but it's just going to be a bit weird in here. Let's scroll. So I mean, pretty good pictures. Fairly good detail, not amazing, but not too bad. I don't think on this website we can skip through. Oh, actually, they've got a. It looks pretty similar, but I don't think you can skip through to the next item. So I think we just have to go back and then back in again, and then master violin Albin Hollinger in case. The original workshop label, Albin Hollinger, keel, and on 1920. Evenly flamed bottom in dark red lacquer, crack-free cover, perfect condition, added bronze medal from the World Exhibition in Turin 1911. Octagonal arch, marked Hans Hollinger, with renewed covering. So let's have a quick look at this. Okay. There's a close-up of the bow. So, here's that medal. There's a bit of the label. So a whole load of other things in with this. It's quite a red varnish, isn't it? But I mean, yeah, not too bad. So it looks like it's got like a wedge on the fingerboard, so underneath the fingerboard, so probably something was wrong with the neck angle at some stage, or some adjustment was made. Okay, once again, it seems to have a starting bid of €2,800. That is. Let's have a look here. Violin in case, so without a label, evenly flamed, reddish yellow lacquer, 3-part border insert, crack free, signs of age of wear, defective sheet in case, 35.9 length of body or length of back. Yeah, it looks, it's got some kind of branding at the back that they haven't mentioned. I can't really quite work that out there. Let's see if the other picture, we can see that a bit better. Something in Frankfurt, J. Ultricher, Frankfurt. They don't mention that. Well, it says violin case without label, but it does have a label, so I'm not quite sure. That might just be a bad translation. That's a bit strange. €500 starting on that old kind of wooden case. Looks interesting enough. Scroll. Yeah, fair enough. Very good. Violin, made by Carl Christian Otto, instrument maker in Halle, and dated 1850. Barely flamed base in hazelnut brown varnish, encircling 3-part edge inlay, covered with hardened cracks, repeatedly restored. Signs of age, use, length body 35, €300. So low start. You can see lots of varnish touch ups, and as they say, lots of repairs. Big crack there. Yeah, let's see on the back. Yeah, so lots of different restoration and repairs there to the back. You can see it's quite a nice scroll. There's a bit more of the back there. Let's have a quick look here. Let's have a look at that scroll. Yeah, I mean, you can see some quite good detail with this weird magnifying glass. There's definitely a lot of interesting things going on with this instrument, but curious enough, and good enough pictures there. Another violin, beginning of 20th century, inside inscribed in French on an adhesive label, Turin, divided, evenly flamed base in amber coloured lacquer, encircling 3-part border, more convex, crack-free top, superficial signs of age and wear, so it's been antiqued, length of body 36.3, so it's got quite a long length of back, so probably good for people with a bit of a longer reach. Someone's kind of scratched in their initials there on the back of the scroll, it looks like. Okay. There's the back. Not super exciting there. That's the front. There's the neck. There's that kind of interesting. Just doesn't look. Yeah, it doesn't look too old. Yep, €350. There's the starting. And another one. It says M. Martin, 1949. Extremely evenly flamed, right bottom amber, lacquer round. Length of body 35.7. Look at that. Looks quite new. It's quite, neck's fairly figured. Side. So you get a better look. So a quick look at that scroll. Looks quite even. Yeah, well there you go. A kind of 20th century violin there. Okay, and another violin. Probably Mark Gherkin, inscribed and dated Wilhelm Bruckner. Violin maker in Erfurt, 1906. It's world repair label Max Renz. Repaired in 1947. Even flamed back. Crack-free top. Fine grain choose. Ready to play condition. So they haven't said that about any of the other instruments. So you have to assume that the others need some work, which you usually expect. €500 start. So this one apparently is ready to go. Interesting varnish. case. Quick look at the scroll. Some kind of looks like it's kind of been broken off there, so definitely worth looking at that a bit more. Let's carry on. Another violin, Johannes Franciscus Presender on the label, I presume. That's the label. Crack through, resonance through, signs of age and wear. 35.5, so it's just an instrument with a kind of dubious label. And it's got an ebony button, so that's curious. And there's a scroll. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, I mean, it's got a low start price. It's interesting enough. Early 20th century, no label, uniflame bass, red brown lacquer, 2 decorative elements made of bone, signs of age and wear, need of restoration. There you go, that's a low start there, €20, 35.3, so that's they're not expecting much for this, to be honest. It does not look like a particularly fine quality instrument, one must admit, but for a project, if you can get it for a decent enough price. So that was 273. Another violin case. Initials inside. In need of restoration and a defective bow, €60, so start price. And the scroll looks interesting enough. It's all the kind of broken button issue there, so that's going to be an expensive repair. It's a scroll. I don't think we need to see any more on that. And then another violin around 1920. It's got a Strad label in it. Owner's put his name on it. Old repairs in need of restoration, another €60. One, it looks pretty standard. Back's kind of open there. It's going to be costly. Yeah, it's, you know, one of these workshop instruments. Another violin, 20th century, without a label, but Hopf brand on the back, as you see quite a lot. Length of body 32.7, so that's very short. There you go, that's the Hopf brand at the back. Let's have a quick look here. Yep. Well, €50 starts, so that's not very high. Violin in case, Frechner and Co. Newkirchen label. Signs of age and wear. Let's have a quick look. Ebony button repair, or made with it potentially. That's the scroll. It's quite elongated. It's had some kind of repairs there to the peg bushing. Okay, €180 starts. Violin case, 1930s, Mark C.A. Schuster, Mark Newkirchen. Where? Yeah, it's another. It's quite figured, but pretty standard instrument there. €100 start. Nothing super exciting there. And here we go. Early 20th century, without a label, slightly flamed. Solidified cracks, so repaired cracks. Length of body 35.4. Looks fairly standard instrument. I think not really worth investigating any further. There's actually quite a lot of instruments in this auction. 1900 without a label. Need a restoration. Let's have a quick look at this. Let's not go too crazy. Yeah, let's not go. €20 start. That makes sense. Another one. Partly inscribed Master Geiger 84 Murali Cremona. Need a restoration. 2 defective bows in the case. It's got kind of the painted wood fingerboard. Looks in a bit of a state. Definitely in need of some restoration. That's the scroll. Yeah. €20 start. Once again, it's not particularly exciting. 1930s label. Signs of age aware. Bow and case. It's interesting scroll there. 2-piece back, but a kind of slight angle. Quite like that aesthetics. It's quite nice for me anyway. Probably most people hate it. Let's look at the scroll. Okay. Yeah, looks interesting enough. €20 start. It's not too bad. Not too bad. But who knows what the price will actually go to. Violin Reichel inside. Max Hugo Reichel. Speciality stringed instruments. Mark Nukerian. Signs of age and wear. Pretty standard instrument, really. I think we can move on past that. A violin Pavel Zalud. Inscribed in Czech on the inside. 35.7. Looks fairly standard instrument. There's one of the scrolls. Violin model Steiner violin model with a Steiner label. Yeah. Unprofessionally restored in need of restoration. So someone's had a go and they didn't know what they were doing. So basically it's now needs even more work than it did before. Basically, so probably some dodgy varnish touch up, probably some dodgy gluing, a lot of work for someone. €20 start, probably thousands of euros needed to repair it, or a lot of patience. Okay, so violin Hopf, 19th century, brand mark, no label, hardly flame bottom, old, repaired, in need of restoration. So it's looks quite long. This instrument, it's obviously had a bit of a hard life. Yeah, 360, so it's pretty long, but looks quite narrow. So, well, maybe someone fancies a challenge. That's that. So that was the first page, and that's quite a lot, isn't there? So second page here. Jacobsen violin, 93, inside with labelled Thomas Jacobsen, Copenhagen, 1853. Crack-free, frame partly detached, length of body 359. So looks like a pretty standard instrument, and definitely not a Jacobsen, because that would have a very high starting price. So standard instrument there. Violin Volkmann, 1930s, marked Anton Volkmann, Schonbach. Traces of age and wear. Once again, this is pretty standard, nothing too exciting. I wonder if we're getting a lot of these instruments. Violin, first half of 20th century, without a label, split unevenly flamed. Crack-free top, minimal signs of age. Doesn't look too bad. Looks in fairly good condition. Looks nice enough. Without a label, could be, maybe it's kind of Eastern European, maybe Romanian or Hungarian or something like that. €120, not too bad. Violin Joseph Lidl, Bern Morava, branded. Little Bruno on the bottom, repair cracks on the top. length of body 359. Once again, pretty standard kind of tradey workshop instrument there. €80 start. That seems a bit ambitious. Another violin, 20th century, no label, in need of restoration. This looks also pretty standard. There's nothing too exciting there. Violin, Luigi Fabio. Repair in need of restoration, €80 start. Once again, looks fairly standard, and the top looks a little bit. A lot of repair there. That's interesting. Let's have a look at that. So it's pretty standard. Violin, Johann Baptist Schweitzer. So need of restoration. So €120 start on that. Pretty standard. A violin, 1900 without label, crack free top, age, signs of age and wear. A one piece back. It's very dark varnish. Looks a bit uninspiring. And violin, Czech Republic with a Strad label. Very basic kind of workshop violin. €100 starts. Looks in good condition though, I guess. Violin, 1930s without label. Traces of age and usage, minimal loss of substance. Yeah, looks pretty standard. Interesting scroll. €80 start on that. It's interesting enough. Violin, Albert Gropp, beginning of 20th century, inscribed Albert Gropp. Signs of age of wear. Looks very standard workshop instrument here. Nothing to write home about. Violin, Luigi Amici, Rome 1925. 4357. Looks a little bit more interesting, but still looks pretty standard. The scroll looks kind of interesting with these extra bits here, so looks curious. Yeah, interesting instrument there. Violin, Giovanni Dolenz, first half of the 19th century. Unprofessionally old, repaired, needed restoration. So with the person's head, which I find not very nice. Yeah, another one of those ones where you've got to redo someone's mistakes, so worth avoiding unless you're really bored. Violin model Steiner, 19th century, blah blah blah. Hardened, cracks, in need of restoration. Once again, I think not too exciting really, pretty standard fare. €60 start. Violin Carlo Bergonzi, labelled Carlo Bergonzi, in need of restoration. Yep, someone's clawed at it. Someone's cats had fun on that or something like that. Yep, not too exciting, sadly. Violin model Amatus, 1930s. Length body 316, so it's a little bit long. It's like quite pinched in. It looks a bit in the way in the bouts. Another standard instrument there. Violin Vincenz Muller, beginning of 20th century, Schonbach, improperly repaired, stronger signs of age of use, so this one needs a good bit of repair. Let's look at the scroll. Oh dear lord, I mean that is horrific. So I mean €20, yeah, if you want to pay that much for it. 1930s with a Strad label. Looks pretty standard and not too exciting. Violin J. Charles, early 20th century, label J. Charles, Paris. Bottom has been partially loosened. Well, that looks a little bit more interesting than some of the others. Look at the label, but still nothing too exciting. €100 start. Violin, 1920s, without label. Signs of age and wear. Hardened cracks. Another standard instrument. So a lot of normal stuff here. Violin, probably around 1900. Anton Jont from Munich. Made in St. Petersburg. Strong signs of age. Yeah, it's definitely quite worn. Silberhorn violin, inscribed and dated J. Silberhorn, 1989. Undivided, signs of wear. So it looks fairly standard again. So that's 311. Violin, second half of 20th century. Yeah, I mean that's a very plain, just ultimate trade instrument, probably Chinese or something like that. €20 is probably about all that it's worth. Here's another 1920s Anton Jaunt instrument maker, 353. I mean, that it's not terrible. Well, apart from that button break, so that's not very good. But looks wise, it's not the worst I've seen. Violin in case. Let's have a look. Oh, there's, yeah, I think we've seen that one. Violin in case, violin without label, need a restoration, with 2 sheets in the case. This marked Franz Hell, instrument maker. Okay, and there's some other info here. Looks, once again, pretty standard stuff. Nothing to write home about. On to the third page. Let's hope there's something else interesting. This looks a bit better. Hornsteiner Baroque viola in case. Matthias Hornsteiner violin maker, Court Blacksmith in Mittelwald, 1807. Top resonance tooth, octagonal bow, Roderick Paysold. Renewed covering, length of body 38. So it's a viola there. This looks a bit more interesting if you're a viola player. That's a bit curious. A few more pictures here. Let's have a look there. Peg bushings there. Interesting back. And there's the bow. So there you go. That's a bit more interesting. €2,000 start price there. Viola, beginning of 20th century, no label, in need of restoration, €120. Yeah, I mean, it looks very standardy trade affair. Another viola, second half of 19th century, indistinctly handwritten label on the side, dated 1891, underwear base, amber, in need of restoration, €20. Ooh, interesting. It's an interesting scroll. Look at that, it's kind of painted on purfling, so it doesn't have any. Yeah, look at that. This is interesting. For me, anyway, I think this is a curious instrument. €20 in need of restoration. That's definitely curious. A cello, first half of 20th century. Probably, is this the only cello in it? Perhaps. 20th century, some solidified cracks, some repaired cracks. It's a cello, looks pretty uninspiring. And here's the scroll. Yeah, it's all pretty normal. Ooh, bows. Violin bow, mid-20th century, L. Eckner. Ebony frog. 61.6 grams. Pretty standard. And give you the pictures. You can kind of have a look all along. Not amazingly, but you can kind of see. There's another L. Eckner bow, so we don't need to look too much. Third one, so we can skip that. A fourth one, but this one is slightly different. It's a bit better. That's Pernambuco. So, yep, So you can get a few pictures there. Violin bow by Frechner. €20 start. It's not too bad. It could be some interesting bows. Cello bow, another Eckner. Says whole Eckner things. Double bass bow by Wilfer. Just have a quick look at this. Low enough start price. Double bass bow by Eckner. So they've cleared out this Eckner connection. Two bows. Viola bow Eckner and a violin bow unmarked. So double the fun. Ooh, other instruments, lovely. Oh, that's a good mixture. Banjo, USA around 1890. Yeah, that's quite curious. Interesting, nice pegs. Yep, something a bit different to break up the strings. So that's €100 start. Concert guitar, A. Ebner, Munich. €1980, pretty standard kind of guitar, that kind of moustache bridge, you get them all the time. This is not a high quality instrument. I think €80 is probably 80 to 100, it's probably all that it's worth. Tuba, mid 20th century, marked Wenzel Meinl. Signs of age and wear, a few pictures. Mixed lot of brass instruments, so there you go. Whole load of things, different horns, needed restoration, so it's a whole collection of things here. So there you go, if you like brass instruments. Piano, accordion, 1960, marked Hohner. In original case, good condition, slight traces of usage. Okay, some baton here, conductor's batons. Not too exciting for me, I have to say, but some people like these. And then we're on to the fourth page. How many things do we have? One. Pair of piano rolls for pianola. There you go. So, well, it's been an interesting auction. My pick of the auction, I think this viola, actually. Yep, this viola, second half of 19th century. Little bit quirky scroll, just a little bit odd, kind of basic looking, rustic, I suppose. Yeah, just looks curious. Be interested to see how much that goes for. And yeah, interesting auction, an interesting mix of things. Nothing too amazing, but a little bit of diversity. Pretty standard ish auction. Pictures aren't too bad, description's okay, could be better, could be worse. All in all, yeah, not too bad. So that was, yeah, the musical instrument part of the 101st auction of Mehlis in Germany. The auction is on February the 20th, or between February the 25th to the 27th. Preview 18th to 23rd. And delivery is, well, I think they got that wrong because they're saying delivery is October 2020, unless they were meant to delivery of items to them. But yeah, so that was the musical instrument auction of Mehlis. So thanks for checking it out, and if you're interested in this auction, link in description, and just check it out, read the terms, and see what you think. So without further ado, many thanks and goodbye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.